Hey Facebook friends, Pastor Bill Walden here with Build Up the Church. This is January the 18th, 2024. Have some thoughts for you out of the Gospel of Matthew. Let me switch over here and read to you just a little bit. Jesus is talking about the kingdom of God. We could also say, I think it wouldn't be a far stretch to say this also applies to the church. Matthew 13:24 to 30, this is what it says. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, The kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? He said to them, An enemy has done this. The servant said to him, Do you want us to go? Then go and gather them up. But he said, No, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let them both grow together until the harvest. And at the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, First gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So Jesus is using an agricultural application that everybody was familiar with. He's talking about a man who sowed a good crop, wheat, in his field. But the man had an enemy who wanted to kind of ruin that crop, and so he came in at night when nobody was watching, and he sowed tares, which are a poisonous plant. And as they grow, they look very, very similar to wheat until right before the harvest. Then you're able to tell them apart. Really, I guess only an expert farmer would be able to really realize that there were tares in the field. So this enemy comes in and wants to dilute or ruin the harvest. And the workers are very concerned, of course. What should we do? Should we pull it out now? And Jesus said, no, the master of the field, the owner of the field would say, we don't want to damage the wheat by pulling out the tares right now. Let's wait till harvest time. That's when you pull out all the plants. And we'll separate the wheat from the tares. So this, some time ago, I had kind of an idea about how this applies to the church, that, so many people will say there's hypocrites in the church. Hypocrite is a pretender, a play actor. In the Greek dramas, they would wear a mask in front of their face and pretend to be somebody that they're not. So when people say there are hypocrites in the church, there certainly are some, absolutely. Some people trying to pretend that they're Christians. Some people trying to pretend that they're better Christians than they are. And then there are just good Christians that are trying and they're failing on occasion. But is there a mixed multitude? Is there a mixed population in the church? Absolutely. There are those who are very sincere. They love God. They love people. They serve God. There are those who are there to, maybe make a business deal or maybe find a future spouse, or they're just lonely and they just want some company, but they don't really care about Jesus or people in a giving way. They're just there for selfish reasons. So is there a mixed group in the church? Absolutely. There always will be. Some years ago, I kind of humorously came up with a term that sometimes, the church is schizophrenic. It has two personalities, within the same building, within the same gathering of people. So why do I say this? Don't be discouraged when you see bad things happening in the church. Jesus told us from the very beginning that God's people would have imposters within their gatherings, that there would be half-hearted people there. There's certainly no perfect people there. And so the church is sometimes schizophrenic. And some people will use that excuse and they'll say, there's hypocrites in the church. There's hypocrites everywhere. There's hypocrites where you work. There's hypocrites on sports teams. There's hypocrite musicians. There's hypocrite fashion designers and bankers and judges and policemen. And, there's hypocrites everywhere. So you really can't use that as an excuse. And besides that, Jesus said there would be a mixed group within the church. And some people will say, well, aren't you Christians supposed to be different? My suggestion to those people would be, go to the church and you'll find that many of those people are indeed different. They're very different. And if you hang around long enough, you'll be able to identify them, and you'll be able to also identify those who are not sincere. So the schizophrenic church, the hypocritical church, it absolutely exists. Jesus said that it would. But then he said at the end of the age, when he comes back, it's all going to be settled. The pretenders, the imposters, the hypocrites, those who are not sincere, will never make it into the kingdom of heaven. And it'll be settled then. So I would encourage you, if you're seeking truth, read the Bible, find a Bible teaching church, check out Jesus, give him a good hard look. And if you come to him really wanting to know him, you'll find him. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.